Greetings, travelers. I'm Josh,
I'm Kahi,
and we're the
the
Genshin
Genshin
Guys.
guys.
Welcome all. This podcast is for fans of Genshin Impact, the mobile game made by HoYoverse, formerly known as MiHoYo. Here we talk about our opinions, experiences, and dreams about Genshin Impact. If you like our show, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to the podcast. Since it's our first episode, let's give a little introduction about ourselves. Me, Josh, the host, and Kahi, the co-host. I'll go first. So hi guys, my name is Josh. I go by JSide online. I do Twitch streaming. I play Valorant. I play Genshin, and I also play some Dead by Daylight. I'm currently living in Tokyo, but I'm originally from America. And as far as the Genshin goes, I am adventure rank 58. I play on the Asia server. My main is Yoimiya because I love her design. I love her playstyle. And my current favorite team to use in Genshin is with Yoimiya as the main DPS. I also have Yelan, Kazuha, and Diona. So what about you, Kahi?
Hi, I'm Kahi. I also go by Kahi. I am adventure rank 58, world level 8. My current team lineup, main team is Zhongli, Ningguang for that Geo boost, as well as Yaimiko and Raiden Shogun for that Electro Synergy, and +2, they are pretty much made for each other. The reason why I like Zhongli, I don't like to do mechanics. If I had to choose a character, I would definitely pick Kazuha Kaedehara, just because I press one button and I win the game. Animal is also probably one of my next favorite elements next to Geo, if Geo wasn't so tanky. I do like living without having to worry.
Nice. So yeah, like definitely a really strong team right there with some really good 5 stars. But
Very expensive, yes.
very expensive. But yeah, so we'll get more into that. We'll get more into teams. We'll talk about our favorite elements. We'll talk about our favorite characters and stuff more and more as the podcast goes on. Maybe not this episode, but definitely future episodes. But since it is our first episode, Kahi and I would like to talk about Genshin Impact, kind of like more towards a beginner standpoint, like some things that we want to share with you if you're just starting the game or if you're only still in the early AR ranks. But if you also, even if you are playing the game regularly, we have some really good resources for you to check out, some websites and some YouTube channels. So if you don't mind, we'd like to share that with you right now. So first things first. So Kahi, what would you recommend for people just starting to play Genshin Impact or getting into it, or maybe are a little lost on the day-to-day of how to manage their Genshin Impact playstyle?
Well, you first of all have to really dig deep and figure out how do you want to play this game. It does offer you a lot of freedom, and there is really no set rules for you to follow. You can choose whatever team you want with whatever characters with that you have, whatever equipment you have. There's always going to be a meta. There's always going to be people telling you there's a meta, but you have to figure out, do I want to win the game this way? Or do I want to win the game this other way? It's a game that is programmed to make you win, minus the gotcha elements, because that's going to be a whole nother conversation. But as far as resources, if you are new to the game, definitely just check out the game's website, Hoyoverse. Just type in Genshin Impact on Google. First thing that pops up, I'm sure they have enough control over search results that they'll always put you to the original official sources. But as far as resources for finding out what a playstyle could be, or maybe you're thinking of, do I want healers? Do I want tanks? Do I want everything DPS or damage? There's YouTube channels with a lot of other content creators. I know, Josh, you have a bunch of content creators in mind. I have a whole bunch of other ones. One that I like personally is Sevy Plays, SEVY Plays on YouTube. Clean character breakdowns, very articulate, very clear, concise, and even offers you choices of styles. And if you want that style, she'll go through all kinds of details about how to play it like that. Josh, what's one that you go to a lot? What's your go-to YouTuber or content creator?
So for content creator, I actually have two YouTubers I go to right away. Um, I go to I Win to Lose Gaming. I Win to Lose Gaming on YouTube, and he shows a lot of really in-depth comparisons between the character, like a certain character, maybe their different weapons, like how much their damage output potential is, and compare a lot of different characters of the same role. They'll do a lot of research. So I definitely recommend that if you're more into the numbers aspect of Genshin Impact and trying to do the most damage as possible. And the other one is Gotcha Gamer on YouTube. He kind of goes over everything, just like any new things. He talks a lot about the community, which I think is really cool, like in how popular certain characters or builds or concepts for Genshin are in the community. So I definitely recommend those two for sure. I see you have like another one. Like, what about you, Kahi? What else do you recommend on YouTube?
Well, for those of you who are just getting into the world of Tevat, then if you want to explore that world fully, I do recommend a YouTuber that goes into lore and theory and history of the characters in the region itself. The YouTuber is Cat with Blue Hat, all one word, spelled exactly like how you think. Um, I personally haven't watched too many videos, but for that channel to constantly pop up anytime I'm looking for Genshin related content does say a lot for that YouTube algorithm that loves to promote consistency. So I would say that's a good channel to look into if you're just trying to learn about what you're getting yourself into. Um, as we go along with again, we're going to introduce some other topics as well. So as the resources need to pop up, I'll probably bring them up in a little bit. But if you're just trying to get started, those are definitely good places that you want to look into.
Right, and like Kahi mentioned earlier, the Hoyoverse website, but also the Hoyoverse app on your phone has interactive maps. There's actually daily login bonuses that you can get just for signing in every day. It's linked to the Hoyoverse community directly. So if you want to check out more information, official information from Hoyoverse about this game or their other games, definitely recommend that one. The app has only gotten better and better and better since the game was released. Now, um, just as a reminder, like all those resources are for things like how to level up your character, where to get their resources that you need to build them, what enemies you need to fight, where you can find those enemies, where you can find those resources, even what artifacts to farm, how to spend your resin, right? Like all of those things are shown and talked about in those YouTubers that we talked about in the websites. And definitely recommend checking out those guides if you are somewhat lost or you feel like your character might be a little weak for the world around you as you're progressing through Genshin. So those are just our recommendations for some resources. They should be useful for to anybody new to Genshin, but also to people who regularly play. Now, the next topic I would like to go to is we were going to talk about today what keeps players playing. So Kahi, what's one thing that you think keeps people playing Genshin? It's been going on for 2 years now, almost, and there have been people that come on and off to Genshin. There have been people that playing consistently, but a lot of people like to take breaks. But what keeps them playing? What keeps the people from taking breaks, or what people keeps people coming back?
Well, not many people know this, but it pretty much has a season pass style of updates and releases and content patches. So, of course, it's new stories, but also it's to just keep your character upgrading, keep pushing all your characters to max level, find the best team comps. The gameplay is solid enough where you can just jump in, just go fight some enemies, get some loot here and there, and it's still satisfying. It's simple enough for anyone to get into it and figure out an interesting combo. It's exactly like Pokemon. You find a Pokemon that has a cool move or a cool artwork and design, and you just like using those Pokemon because it looks cool and it feels fun. And that's exactly what this game is kind of meant to do. You see a character that you want, you can go in, you can go after it, save your Primo Gems. That's definitely something that anyone needs to learn. Save and spend accordingly. But it's the it's the feeling that there's always going to be something coming out every single time you come back. Even people that have played the game for years. It's been close to 2 years actually. It's something that when they come back, they'll know, hey, there's a new region, or hey, there's more characters, or hey, there's this, there's that, and there's always going to be those rotating gotcha banners. So that's another reason. It's a very wide net, right? Like you have a game that appeals to every kind of player. Like the hardcore player, you have Spiral Abyss. You have the casual player, you have the open world puzzles. You have people who want to like constantly grind out this one little domain to always get that one specific reward because they want a certain version of it. So there's something for everyone, and it's always going to be rewarding to a degree. That'll be a conversation for later, but it's always going to have avenues for success and rewards. So it's a very rewarding experience.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of things that keep people playing the game. What about you, Kahi? What keeps you playing the game? What is the one thing that you love coming back to Genshin every day for?
Lately, anytime I do get a character, I have to level that character up. I mean, there's a reason why I got the character in first place. I have to level it up to a reasonable amount where I can figure out, is this a good character in a team that I want? Because currently I need healers for other teams. Of course, my main team is unstoppable, but I want to use the other players that let's face it, that I spent money on, and I need to use them somehow. But I like crafting a cosmetically appealing team, if that makes any sense. But I
Same,
have Zhao.
same.
Ugh, yeah, characters that you buy and you don't use. They're like you buy a toy and it just sits on a shelf. So like I still have characters that I need to level up to max, and then I want to figure out a team that looks like it makes sense because I told you my team, right? Zhongli, Ning Wang, Yaimiko, and
Right.
Rainen Shogun. Just but looking at that team, you're like, oh yeah, they're supposed to be in that team. They're supposed to be rolling as a crew. Like you have the two most powerful in Liyue and you have the two most powerful in Inazuma. Of course they're going to be on a team. So that's the kind of style that I like going for. So earlier I mentioned like the game is crafted for you to win. You're going to win. You just have to decide how. So if you want to be flashy, go for flashy. Doesn't have to be optimized, but if you're going to win, do it in a fashionable, flashy fashion.
You have a lot of options, basically, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like you wanna like level up your characters, craft an appealing, aesthetically appealing team, in a way. Um, and like that's one of the things that keeps you coming back, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
for
you've seen
me,
the
oh
fruits of
yeah,
your
yeah.
labor.
Oh exactly. For me, one of the things that keeps me coming back is actually the like exploration of like new areas. So
Good
I
open world.
one thing, one thing I love about Genshin is I actually remember this. Like when we first started playing Genshin, when it came out, I remember you told me like when you play Genshin, don't teleport anywhere, walk everywhere.
I made
Obviously now
a
you realize
photography
how
guide and said that.
obviously you realize now how ridiculously long it would take you to get through like most stories and even some daily quests. But um definitely something I try to do as much as possible. Like especially now as I'm playing through the game and there are a lot of characters who need materials from enemies that are just found throughout the world, or maybe just like needing materials that are found throughout the world as well, like just like on random paths or in certain areas of the map. I try to walk and get from point A to point B on foot as much as possible so that I can fight any enemies that I come across. Of course, I don't always feel that way. Some that usually just teleport around
Can
if
I
I need
tell
to
you my
do quests
rule?
and things. Yeah, sure.
So I have a rule. So let's say if I'm on a quest or like an objective, if it's less than 1,000 meters, I'm going to run there. If it's more, I'll just teleport. Because there's going to be those materials along the way, like I need a mushroom or I'll need some mint for something like 3 patches in the future, and I'm going to need a bunch of it. So if it's within 1,000 or a kilometer, I guess, if it's within a kilometer, I'm just going to run there. I'm going to run into something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good rule. Actually, I might try trying
It
that
doesn't take
out
that long
because
either.
yeah, it's pretty good, especially because I have like Yelan or like Ayaka or people that can run fast if I need to like
Oh,
feel like
Ayaka
I'm
is
getting there
great.
fast. Yeah, Ayaka's amazing. But yeah, so that's fun. Like exploration is definitely a key part of this game for me. It's what makes it different from like any like I don't know, even if you think about Hoyo versus other game, if you've ever played it, Honkai. I mean, I know you've played
Oh,
it, but
I played it when it came
um
out, and I
yeah,
dropped it
we
like
we
a
played
week
it
later.
together a little bit. But yeah, Honkai is just like only combat basically. Like there are some mini exploration segments within like missions, but you don't really get to like free explore. It's not open world, and I think Genshin's open world is a really cool part about it. Anyway, so what about so we talked about what keeps people playing, but what about what to expect going forward? Like what are some let's talk about opinions here. And so of the things we do know that are confirmed, we're not yet talking about leaks and things like that, but what are you first of all excited for? And then after that, I want to talk about what do you hope that they add, or do you think that they will add, without any sort of like official confirmation on those things.
Right, but I mean, at this point in the game, I'm sure everyone can easily expect a steady stream of new characters. Like any gacha game, it's gonna have a gacha system. That means there's gonna be things people are gonna roll for, and it's always the characters. So there's always gonna be that introduction of new characters that somehow break the meta or somehow introduce a completely new play style, even if it might be painful at first, and we have no idea how to use this character. It can
Mhm.
eventually be a game-breaking character later. Because I just got Cookie, she can be secretly good. I know there's a secret way to use her that's great, and I'm still trying to find it. But you can
Really?
expect new characters. Yeah,
She's good. I mean, she's
yeah,
really good.
good healer
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Electro. But you can always expect two main things: new characters that are cool, they have great design teams, and new zones. The zones and the spaces you can explore in this game are very well crafted. That's what always impresses me about this. That's why the photo mode I love, because you can run 100 feet, take a new screenshot.
So what do you think, like, okay, what are you most excited for going forward? How about that?
Most excited for, honestly, other than the zones, it's a little above the nice layout and the nice world design. It is the characters, because it changes your play style. It kind of forces you to experiment. See, my main team always can tackle anything, even if it's an electro boss. Like I have Geo that just overpowers that. But if I have other teams that somehow a new character can add the special ingredient to that team, suddenly I have a new main team, and then I can just use that for a while. I always have like the main team that can tackle anything, but then what if you have another team that could tackle pretty much anything else, but you play it different? Like my current setup with Ningguang, Zhongli, and Yaimiko, I set up basically auto turrets, and I just stand there with a shield, and everything just everything just gets zapped and like pulsed, and they just die, and I'm just standing still. I love it. But if there's another way
Mhm.
to play that's creative and fun, I'm looking forward to the new character.
The new character?
Well, I don't know for sure. I mean, in the future, there's always going to be an expectation of new characters into the mix, but
Mm.
once that character is released and I see a trailer, I'm going to figure out how can I use that character. I want to find a
I
good
see.
mix for you. It's like
Well,
team
I'm pretty
building. I like
excited
that.
about Heizo, like the new Inazuman Catalyst Animo user.
That's one I
The
saw
one that
for.
they,
Yep.
yeah,
I saw the
like
video.
just like how unique his Catalyst playstyle is, which just opens the
Yeah.
possibility for a lot of new interesting ways to play.
Yeah. I don't know how much you
So
want to go
yeah,
into leaks, but I saw some gameplay and I like what I see because I
I
can
see.
figure out ways to abuse it.
Well, yeah, I definitely want to save like other leaks for other times, but like
hmm
I mean, he was officially announced, so he's coming, so that's cool.
Oh, the
And
splash. Oh, the splash art. Right.
yeah, yeah, so he was officially announced.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then but no official gameplay videos yet. But so yeah, what about so for me, I guess like I'm really excited for the zones and like kind of just like the cultural differences that are presented through each of these worlds that we've been in so far. Obviously, we've gone through like a European, German-esque um
They know how to do a
Mondstadt
theme.
and
Their themes are great.
right, and we have like China, Liyue is like Chinese themed, and Inazuma is Japanese themed, but
My favorite.
next is Sumeru, which is like in the desert and is going to be supposedly a mix of different cultures, which I'm just so interested to see what kinds of characters that brings us as well.
Greek and Egyptian.
But yeah, and what I'm really excited for like their designs and things. And there was that video that was released a long time ago that kind of shows you a preview of characters from every region going forward. Um, the story trailer. But I'm really excited
Oh,
for
I remember that.
yeah, I'm really excited for the different kinds of characters we will see from now. Because like, we've had a lot of Asian characters recently, like Asian based themed characters from Inazuma and Liyue. So,
Mhm.
yeah, what do you think, Kai?
I mean, speaking of like teasers for a story from the story trailers, I went back because I was making an AMV for Genshin. I showed you that earlier, but we'll talk about that
Hmm.
later. I when I was looking at all the footage and all the videos, I didn't realize Ayaka, her ult was in like one of
Yeah.
the 1.0 trailers,
Yeah,
and I was
that's what I'm talking
shocked. I
about.
didn't remember that.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like that trailer
Uh-huh.
has a person from every region until the end.
Hmm.
So it has the next one, the Sumeru person, who's like they have like knives and they look like they're wearing like Aladdin style getup. It's really
Oh, I
cool.
think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely worth a watch again if you've been playing the game for a long
Yep.
time and you haven't like checked out the old trailers. Like, go watch that trailer about it's I think it's just called story preview trailer or something like that,
Yeah,
and
they have
it's
playlists too.
yeah, it's really good and it gets me really excited for like what's coming forward. One thing I also think honestly that might be coming is they gave us a boat, and you can use the boat in the water in certain areas that have the thing where you can call the boat.
That was fun. I like the boat.
But we are about to go to a desert, and I really think that the way that they explained like how Sumeru is like it's the kind of open desert, Middle East style like area. I think that they might give us something to traverse land faster in certain areas. So
There's a
I'm really curious.
something. There's a vehicle that was from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about, but remember when they went to the desert and they met the Sand People? You remember that?
Mm, no, I'm gonna look it up right now. As
So
Airbender.
the Earthbenders in the sand in the desert, they were using the sand to like create uh like a little mini tornado, and it generated wind to like put into their sail. So
Oh,
it's
I
like a
see it. I
sand
see it.
sail. You remember that?
Yeah, it's basically a
Yeah.
sailboat,
Yeah.
but they just like produce the wind themselves, right?
Yeah. I hope it's like that.
That's really interesting. Especially like it's like you have to use an animo character or something.
Yes. See, you power the boat.
Yeah,
You power the thing. That'd be great.
yeah,
Good
that'd
mechanic.
be really cool. So yeah, I mean, like I'm really excited to see like what kind of other interesting things they add to the game going forward. So I mean, so for you guys listening, anybody, what are you interested in going forward? What do you want to see that has not been leaked, that is not, that we don't know is coming for sure? Like, what do you want to see them add to this game? I'm really curious to hear other people's opinions. I've heard some, but feel free to comment in the review section. Leave your question or comment in the form of a review, and we may share it next podcast. So, all right. So thanks, Kahi. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that that's kind of the basics of just what we were wanting to talk about today. Just talking about some resources, talking about what keeps people playing. We talked about what do we expect going forward. And so in the future, we will be talking more in depth about news, like current news that is happening with the game. We'll maybe talk about the updates. We might even talk about the story sometimes. And so this is just our first podcast where we're kind of just trying to set the tone. And hopefully you guys are interested. Hopefully, if you love Genshin, you will be here and you will be listening. So thank you so much. Kahi, do you have anything you want to say before we move on to the outro?
Spend your resin.
Don't forget to spend your resin. Exactly.
Don't forget, you're capped. You're capped at 160. Spend it. You need to
Oh
use it.
man.
Those are your rewards.
Remember the good old days when it was 120?
You said good old days? What is, I no, no, I can't agree with that. No.
Remember the not so good old days when it was 120?
Yeah, that sounds better. It's more accurate.
So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Like I said earlier, you can leave a question in the form of a 5-star review as well if you want to have it answered on the next podcast. We were definitely looking to experiment with the kinds of topics that we want to talk about on this podcast. So feel free to recommend or request some different kinds of segments or information that we can, look up for you and share on the podcast. I personally wanted to start this podcast because I felt that there were times where I wanted to learn more about the game, but I had to do other things, and I really love the podcast medium itself. So, and I felt like there wasn't any, if not enough, Genshin podcasts out there. So, hopefully this reaches some of you guys and you fans of Genshin. We can kind of share this together and we can talk about a lot of the fun things. And hopefully we can give you some good information as well. Right? So, don't forget to follow or subscribe to Genshin Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening for more future discussions on Genshin Impact. Don't forget to follow us on social media or Twitch. So for me, we'll have it in the description, but I'm at JSide Gaming, and my Twitch is twitch.tv/JSide. What about you, Kahi? Do you have anything you want to share your
I
socials?
think I'll reveal those details when the time is right. I want it to be a surprise. But you can catch me right here on this podcast if you'd like to hear more from me or if you want to hear my gaming opinions as well. I'll definitely be having some conversations with Jay Side on the side.
Okay, yes, that's Jay's side. Right. Anyway, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in Teyvat. So, don't forget to spend your resin,
May your rolls be gold.
and we'll catch you next time. Bye.